Let's move into the Miami Dolphins. Let's talk about the Arizona Cardinals. Tua Tagovailoa. Obviously, fantasy purposes, we're not telling you to play him. He's QB20 for us on the week. The question is, what do you do about the rest of the pass catchers? Because there should be high volume when it comes to the Dolphins this week. There should be. You're not going to have Gaskin. It doesn't look like you're going to have Breida, and that's something we're going to have to update on our rankings. So we still had Breida ranked. We'll have that updated for you late Saturday night, Sunday morning. You're going to be leaning on Jordan Howard, who's been a healthy scratch for, I believe, 3 weeks now. You're going to be leaning on DeAndre Washington, who you literally just traded for this week. The running game's not going to be a thing for the Dolphins. It's just not. There's going to be high volume for the rookie quarterback in this game, which leads me to Devontae Parker. Devontae Parker comes in at wide receiver 31 for us, leaning on the idea that there's going to have to be high volume, that the Dolphins are going to have to throw the ball to move the ball in this matchup. I'm not worried about Patrick Peterson so much. He's not the same corner he used to be. What I am a little concerned about, though, and this plays to Parker possibly having a low floor, I'm a little concerned that because it's Patrick Peterson, Tua Tagovailoa may choose to target Preston Williams on the other side. He may choose just to go away from him, which is what my fear is a little bit when it comes to Parker. But if they're going to have the volume I expect them to have, and I expect at least 35 pass attempts in this game for Tua, if not 40, given the circumstances around their running game, and that Arizona has a real shot here to run up the score. I know Dolphins defense have been playing well, but I think coming out of the bye, I think Arizona's offense, with now Chase Edmonds coming out, it's going to look actually a little bit more efficient. It's going to look a little bit more explosive. We'll talk about their offensive weapons in a second. But as a result of that, being that it's in Arizona and they're coming off the bye, I think the Dolphins are going to have to come back from behind too at some point in this game. So there should be high volume in this game. So Parker has a decent floor, I believe. But I question exactly what his ceiling is going to be because we still don't know who Tua's favorite target really is. I mean, Parker had the touchdown last week, but he only had 2 targets. His favorite target as far as pass catchers go was Preston Williams, who had 5. So we're going to have to see. That game, we had a really weird game script, so we just didn't get to take a lot of data out of that game. The game really didn't tell us a lot when it came to, Tua and Parker and Williams and Mike Gesicki. It just didn't tell us a lot. So Parker, wide receiver 31. We're not playing Preston Williams, obviously. It's just a matter of, where's Parker's value at when it comes to Preston Williams' targets. Mike Gesicki, tight end 19. I don't know how you can trust Mike Gesicki at this point. I don't know who would want to. He's had, 2 good games this year? He's been hardly even involved. And this goes back before Tua took over, where we have a lot of question marks as to what we're going to see. No. I'm not trusting Mike Gesicki this week. As far as the Arizona Cardinals side of the ball, this is where things get a little bit exciting. Now, like I said, the Dolphins defense has been playing well, but I expect the Arizona Cardinals offense to be a little bit more efficient now they have Chase Edmonds back there. Why I think Chase Edmonds should continue being the starting running back, but we'll have that conversation at another time. Kyler Murray is our QB1. He's been the QB1 for the season. We know that even if he's not efficient throwing the ball, which he hasn't been at times this year, he'll run the heck out of it and give you a big fantasy output. No worries there. So QB1. Chase Edmonds, running back 5 overall. RB5, top RB1 this week. Love the matchup, love his ability, love how he has looked so far this season. He's going to get all the work. Love Chase Edmonds this week. Don't think that should be a surprise to anybody. DeAndre Hopkins, wide receiver 3 on the week. We know that DeAndre Hopkins has a better than 50% chance of getting double-digit targets almost every single week. He's kind of on the Keenan Allen thing right now where he's just, they're going to get double-digit targets. And being how good they are, and when they have games like this where, yes, Miami secondary is decent, but they, whether Byron Jones or Xavier Howard, whoever they want to throw out there, there's nobody that I feel like has the capability of actually taking away a DeAndre Hopkins. So I expect double-digit targets. I expect a high floor. I expect a great ceiling. DeAndre Hopkins, wide receiver 3. I think the question is, can you play a Christian Kirk on the backside, who going into the bye week had 5 touchdowns in 3 games? 5 touchdowns in 3 games out of Christian Kirk. Now, he has definitely established himself as somebody who needs to be owned everywhere. I think the question is, when are you feeling comfortable playing him I have him at wide receiver 43 this week, which puts him in the low-end conversation of the flex territory. I don't know if I'm looking to play him necessarily against the Dolphins, but here's what I will say. If you're looking at your rosters and you're like, look, I need somebody who at least has some upside. I need somebody who can take me over the top and at least has the potential to win me the week because, I have this guy on bye or I have this guy injured or the matchup that I'm playing against, hey, this guy has me outgunned. If you're looking for that little spark from that guy who can just overperform and has that upside, that's a Christian Kirk guy right now. He's on a fire as far as the touchdowns go. He's overtaken Larry Fitzgerald in snap count, in routes run, in targets. He is the second wide receiver. We knew somebody else besides DeAndre Hopkins was going to have to start to get more involved. I'm good with you playing Christian Kirk if you need to take a shot somewhere. That's why he's at wide receiver 43 for us. And that might even be a little bit too low because he has some big upside. Let's move on here. Let's move into the Saints, Tampa Bay, Sunday night. Talking about a game that everyone's looking forward to. To me, it's the game of the week. Let's talk about the Saints first, because there's a lot of injuries here that we have to get through. Drew Brees might be a little bit more banged up than we all realize with his shoulder issue that he's going through right now. Now, they expect him to play. He's been limited in practice. But from what I understand yesterday, he was working off to the side more than not. So Drew Brees might be a little bit banged up in this game, but we do, at this point, expect him to go. As far as his actual fantasy value, he's not a streaming quarterback for us in this game. It's Tampa Bay's defense. He's dealing with the injury, and it's not like he's been great this year anyway. So not a streaming option for us. But it's important because you need Brees out there because guess who finally might come back? Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas might be back in this game. He's been practicing in limited capacity this week. So far as we understand it to this point at 12:55 on Friday, there hasn't been any setbacks with him in practice. I don't want to say that we're definitely going to see Michael Thomas because I feel like every time I felt confident about that heading into a week, we haven't seen it yet. It's been one thing or another with him, whether he's punching a guy out or picking up new injuries while he's practicing. So I don't, knock on wood, I don't want to jinx anything, but we might actually see Michael Thomas coming back this week. Make sure you're following us on Twitter at BellyUpMDFF Show. We'll keep you up to date because that's something we're all going to be watching right up until game time. If Thomas plays, you're playing him. We have him ranked at wide receiver 13. No, it's not a great matchup, but there's going to be an emphasis if he's out there to get Michael Thomas the ball a lot, especially after what happened the first time these two teams played each other. It's going to be a big Thomas and Alvin Kamara game as far as targets go. That's why we need Drew Brees to be healthy because we need to make sure that's exactly what's going to happen. Kamara is our RB4 this week. It's the first time in a while we actually haven't had him ranked at RB1. Again, that's a testament to the fact that he's playing Tampa Bay. We don't expect high efficient numbers in the ground game. The great thing about Kamara and why he just has this insane floor every single week, even when he doesn't score, which has actually been a few weeks now since he has scored a touchdown. He's on a record pace in receptions and reception yards. And even with Michael Thomas coming back, even with Emmanuel Sanders coming back, because we expect him to be back this week too. He got activated off the COVID reserve list. He may not see double-digit targets. Maybe. There's still a possibility he could. But he's going to still see 7 and 9. He's still going to be heavily involved. So that's the great thing about Alvin Kamara. Even in a matchup like this, we know he's going to be so involved in the passing game that you just don't worry about him killing your lineup. And as long as he gives you that floor with the receptions, he's due for a touchdown. 100% he's due for a touchdown. Jared Cook, tight end 9. Again, he kind of falls in that category where, yeah, if he scores, he's going to be top 10 tight end. If he doesn't, then, who knows? He might be tight end 25. There's a long list of guys like that. He has been getting targeted in the red zone. He has been getting a target a lot overall, which I think has been a little bit disappointing, especially since there's been no Michael Thomas. We kind of expected him to be more involved between the 20s. But when they get inside the 20, Jared Cook is definitely somebody Drew Brees is looking for. And that's not going to change even with Michael Thomas coming back. He's still going to be somebody that Drew Brees looks for. And now that there will be attention away from him in the red zone on top of it, it should allow him to get a few more one-on-one opportunities. So Jared Cook is tight end 9 for us. On Tampa Bay side of the ball, Tom Brady, QB8. We're finally going to see, we talked about it earlier in the show, It looks like we're going to see Chris Godwin. At least it's trending in that direction right now. We have him at wide receiver 18. We expect him to go. We expect him to play. It's a big matchup. He'll be in his, as long as he's good to go out there with that special glove he's trying out there and he can catch the ball, which is what it sounds like happened in practice today. Chris Godwin will be a wide receiver 2 for us. Mike Evans, high-end wide receiver 3. 28th. He's going against Lattimore. You don't love it. But I don't believe Antonio Brown is going to come in again and get 80 to 90% of the snap work. Not this week. I think there's going to be an emphasis to target Mike Evans when it comes to the red zone. That touchdown capability is what keeps him at a wide receiver 3, even going up against Lattimore for most of this game. Let's get to the big one. Let's talk about Antonio Brown. Everyone wants to know, can we play him week 1? Well, look, I do have him at wide receiver 46, so it's not outside the conversation of considering him potentially in your flex position, especially if you're in 3 wide receiver leagues. It's in the conversation. Would I want to play him this week? No. That's why he's wide receiver 46. It's not somebody I want to play. But it's all, again, it's going to come down to your roster construction. It's going to come down to your lineups. What can you get? What do you have available to you? Is there a world where Antonio Brown walks in and gets double-digit targets? Yeah. And we saw it happen with Tom Brady and the Patriots. Now, the difference between, and I want to get into this because a lot of people keep throwing that example out there, but they don't seem to back it up with context. When the Patriots had Antonio Brown for that 1 week and he was targeted double-digit times after only being out there 1 week with Tom Brady, that's what everybody kind of keeps going back to. They had no one out there. Josh Gordon was hurt. Julian Edelman was hurt. There was no other receiver to go to. That was why Tom Brady needed Antonio Brown so badly. So add the context to what happened that week. I don't believe he's going to come out and play 80% of the snaps. I think he will be limited. So I don't want to play Antonio Brown if I can help it. But the weird thing is, because it's Antonio Brown, because it's Tampa Bay's offense and the way they've been playing as of late, the way Tom Brady especially has been playing as of late, he does enter the conversation of a possible option depending on what you're looking at. But we haven't wide receiver 46, so there should be better options out there for you. I'd rather play Christian Kirk than Antonio Brown this week, for instance. Rob Gronkowski comes in tight end 2 for us. I believe he was tight end 2 for us last week. He continues to be tight end 2 for us this week. He's been very consistent. He's a guy he's on a touchdown streak right now. He's playing more and more. He's playing a lot. I can't believe how much Rob Gronkowski is playing. I don't think I ever expected Rob Gronkowski at any point. And I know the O.J. Howard, injury definitely plays into this and why it's happening now, but I don't think I ever expected him to play 90% of the snaps this season at any point. That's what's happening right now. He's back to being like out in the field. Now, is he the explosive Rob Gronkowski from a few years ago? No, but he's a heck of a player right now. If you picked him up and we're going through the streaming tight end situation, I think you have a top 5 tight end in your hands the rest of the season, without a doubt. So we playing Rob Gronkowski as our tight end too. Let's talk about the Monday night game. Let's talk about the Monday night game. Let's talk about this snoozer fest. Let's talk about this brutalness, this ugliness. Oh, I am getting a little bit of an update, though. First, hold on. Randall Cobb returned to practice after missing Wednesday with a non-COVID-related illness. Just wanted to make that clear to you guys. So Randall Cobb will be back in the mix, and it wasn't COVID that he missed in the first place. So that's always important to note right now because Houston has been dealing with some of their own COVID issues, along with, it seems like, half the league at this point anyway. All right, so now let's go back. Let's talk about this Monday night game. Okay, so before we actually talk about this Monday night, let me go on a little bit of a tangent here just to get this off my chest. Why can the NFL not flex out Monday night games? Who wants to watch the Patriots and the Jets on Monday Night Football? Even if you're a Patriot fan, even if you're a Jet fan, you have to admit they have no business being on the Monday night. None. It's terrible. I'm tired of these Thursday night games and these Monday night games just being awful matchups that seemingly, for whatever reason, whoever does the scheduling, however they have it set up, whatever the policy is, they won't flex them out. They'll flex out games on Sundays. They'll flex out a Sunday night game from time to time, but they won't do it when it's a Monday or a Thursday. Now, Thursday I kind of get to some degree because there's a whole issue there with, days in between teams playing. You want to be prepared for that, beforehand. So I get Thursday to some degree. But Monday night, that shouldn't be a difficult thing.